Well, it was Captain Courageous for Bangalore who was fighting the lone battle. He was a lone ranger. He was out there on the horse all by himself. Almost got to 100, but was not to be, but took his team up to a fairly respectable total, considering they had lost 4 wickets in the 8th over. There you go. Faf du Plessis, 96, getting out in the last over of 64 balls. So he got them at a good clip as well, 150 strike rate there for him. And he had a decent bit of support from Shahbaz, 26 of 22, and Glenn Maxwell, of course, with those fireworks in the power play before he got out to Jason Holder on the first floor. That was 23 of 11. So Bangalore put into bat and with 181 for 6. I'm Gaurav Kapur. This is Cricbuzz Live. Got Michael Vaughan and Lisa Sthalekar here with me. First of all, Lisa and Michael, I would just like some gentle applause, not too much, for my score prediction of 183. Just gentle. Right. Yeah, that's nice, Lisa. I like that. But I also must say, Michael, somewhere I feel the Bangalore team has conspired to come to my score, because you're 4 wickets down in the 8th, and yet your best striker, Dinesh Karthik, plays only 8 balls. There's over-strategizing.
Yeah, but they played well. I mean, other teams that aren't quite as confident as this team at the minute would have only got around 140, 150, but we've just seen an incredible innings. When a captain stands up like that, when there's wickets falling around him, and he just plays with so much control. I mean, 96 from 64, and it was a pure innings of boundaries. But not just that, he's running between the wickets. He's so quick. He was just nicking. When your friend DK came out there, they were just nicking 2s for fun. And that is one of the big things of T20 cricket that I don't think gets coached enough, is the running between the wickets, of stealing 2s. And Faf du Plessis is right up there with the best at that. Great innings. I think it's around par. I think it's a good pitch. I don't think there's a great deal of movement. It's just that extra bit of bounce early in innings. If you can just give yourself a few balls to get used to that, there's plenty of runs out there.
Lisa, you can call Faf Roger for all the 2s that he was stealing today.
Yeah, and he was sucking him in, wasn't he, as well? There were times he was down on his haunches, been out there the whole time, really dictating the flow of the innings. He had to kind of just bide his time just a little bit, given the fact that they lost so many wickets up front, and then was able to have those partnerships where then it allowed him to free himself. So, yeah, he batted really well. I'm disappointed that he didn't get the triple figures. He's still searching for his first IPL 100. But boy, he was close. But he's given his side a decent total. When, they lost those wickets early on, you were thinking, oh, this is going to be a tough road for Bangalore. But they managed to claw their way back.
I mean, you look at 62 for 4, and you're saying, all right, at 62 for 4 in the 8th, you take 180. But I don't know why, Michael. I'm looking at this and saying that they've somehow left 15 runs on the table.
Yeah, and I guess it's a DK factor that he didn't get enough balls. But I guess when you've got a player like DK that you're almost holding him back for the back end, there will be games that he doesn't get in and doesn't get the amount of balls that you would love. But I think from that position of 4 down for 60 yard inside 8, I think they'll be delighted with that score. If Faf du Plessis had got out, they could easily, as I said before, only have got 130, 140. Now they've got a really competitive total. And with the way that they've been bowling, fielding, that bounce should suit the likes of Hazelwood, Siraj, Harshal Patel. Asaranga will also, you can't see him bowling any worse than Bishnoi did tonight. He just didn't have an evening where he could land it where he wanted. So I do think it's a very competitive total.
I think,
Lisa.
I was
going to say, just on DK, I mean, we're only at the halfway stage. So it's important for Bangalore to ensure that they get other guys scoring runs. I mean, we spoke about at the top of the show that Virat and Faf needed to fire. Faf did. But just even giving Shahbaz that time in the middle, I know he's provided a few little cameos, but that may hold them in good stead. If it was a final, absolutely get DK in there and maybe retire a batter out there. But maybe they're playing the longer game where they're trying to get a bit more time in a few other players.
If you're looking at the bowlers, we're looking at Ravi Bishnoi. Michael was just talking about Ravi Bishnoi. He had a bad day, but I think the last over that he bowled, Lisa, for me, that was if you want to see one over, which kind of signifies how Faf has played his innings, I think it was that over.
Yeah. I mean, you look at Bishnoi, and we all thought probably on DY Patel that he'd actually cause a few more problems than what he did, but they played him really well. Faf played him well, used his feet, depth of crease, and to take him for 47 runs, I think just shows you the class of Faf and what they were able to do. But Bishnoi, I've been impressed, how he's gone so far throughout the tournament, and no doubt he'll come back from an average performance there.
We have to, Michael, talk about just the experience, the guile, the wisdom that you can bring to T20 cricket with two examples. Krunal Pandya, not the biggest spinner of the ball. Jason Holder, not the quickest, even though he bowls from the first floor. Yet amongst them, using their experience and their guile, they've got 8 overs there for 54 runs and 3 wickets. I mean, that's gold for a captain.
Yeah, it's smartness from those two. I mean, just subtly changing pace, angles. Pandya is just to a right hand, he's just kind of restrict them of any kind of movement of the hand. So he's firing it into that middle and leg quite often, but also watching the batter's feet and making sure that he's always one step ahead. So not deciding on what delivery to bowl until right at the last minute. And I think Holder's very similar. I think he runs in and studies the batter to see what they're doing. If they dance down, he'll knock it in. If he sees them giving a bit of space to hit through the offside, he throws it out wide to get them fetching the ball. Just smartness, experience, and also, this confidence in their own ability to just subtly change things right at the last minute.
Lisa, if we just have a quick chat about the fact that every team in this tournament, no matter how many wickets they lose up front, somehow very, very heavy foot on the pedal, isn't it, with everybody?
It is. I mean, Glenn Maxwell, I was intrigued to see how he was going to potentially just build his innings, given the fact that the wickets fell. So he's the type of player, and we're seeing most players now, if it's in your wheelhouse, you're going to go big. You're going to be able to score runs, and you're going to take those risks because they practice so much of it that they just feel, if that ball's in my area, I'm going big. Doesn't matter if we're 5 down for nothing. If it's there to be hit, I'm hitting it. And they're able to execute it. And that's why I actually think Maxwell's little cameo, albeit quite short, 23 off 11, he was the one that actually kept the run rate and put pressure on Lucknow bowlers. Then he fell away, unfortunately, but that little partnership of 37 off 26 was really important after those 2 early wickets. And that probably allowed Faf just to get his innings going. So, you're right. There is a rule now in IPL cricket. Got to go big all 20 overs.
That's right. Go big or go home. Can this total, Michael, send Lucknow home, or will they be able to get this done? I mean, Bangalore's got a very decent, more than decent bowling attack, don't they? We'll pull it up on the screen for you. You'd back this bowling attack to defend 180 odd.
Yeah, I would, but also, I mean, this sounds stupid, but I also back the Lucknow batting lineup to chase it because they've got the quality. Both the bowling and the batting is quality. You look at KL Rahul on the back of 100. He likes the ball bouncing, the pitch bounces. Quinton de Kock likes the pitch bouncing. He's got exactly that. Manish Pandey is a good player of pace. You look at down the bottom there, you've got Stoinis, who likes the bounce. He bats in Australia. Jason Holder likes a bit of bounce. So there's a group of players there that I think will fancy the chances. It'll take one of those mentioned names, and maybe Deepak Hooda in that pack as well, to get a 70 plus. If one of their individual players gets over 70 plus, they'll get somewhere close to this target.
Yeah, exactly the reason why I'm saying they could have just pushed somewhere in the back, considering in the last 5 they've only got 10 and over. And I say only 10 and over because, well, 12-13 has become the norm, and that's what you're talking about, those 15 runs they left at the table. What a good point Michael makes about you're backing the Lucknow batters and you're backing the Bangalore bowlers, because, Lisa, that's
No
how the
one's
first
gonna
half
win.
of the game. No one's going to win.
No one's going to win.
Just don't say.
It could be a tie.
Okay,
It's a super over written all
No.
over.
You can say super
No.
over. Don't say 2 super overs, because Lisa has
we
done.
we can only have a super over when Lisa's not working, because it's just far too late in Australia.
Do you
We
know
need the
she's
game
done
to
a-
finish one way or the other.
She's done a double header which had the 2 super overs, the
I told
back-to-back
them
super
last
overs.
time, Gaurav.
I think it was 9 a.m. for her by the time she finished.
It
Yes,
was-
Straight into the avocado on toast.
yeah, diving straight into it. But that's exactly what Michael makes a great point, because that's exactly how, Lisa, the first half of this game has been. I don't know if you can call it. I don't know if you can say Lucknow did well or Bangalore did well. It's so even this first half.
Because each side has an opportunity to walk away with the 2 points. I don't think there's an advantage to one team. Maybe Lucknow, because they're chasing, they know the target, they know how they can potentially build their innings. But like you said, Gaurav, the fact is that everyone's going hard, and they've probably got a better depth than what we saw with Bangalore. So, it'll be interesting to see, because you think maybe scoreboard pressure might come into it. But Badoni has been hitting the ball well. Krunal Pandya, I mean, they're all big hitters. So I think we're going to see a close one. Not a super over, but a close one.
Well played. But before we go, we've got to discuss the elephant in the room. Virat Kohli out first of all. Michael?
Yeah, it's just not happening for him. I don't think there's a movement problem with him at the crease. I just think he's going through one of those periods where he's getting out. Only he knows whether he's completely on it. I don't see, from what I see on the TV, a lack of intensity in his body language. I don't see anything wrong with his movements. He's just going through one of those periods where he's just getting out. And when you haven't scored 100 for such a long period of time, he's only a human being, and he's bound to be a little bit down in confidence, because, as I say, he's a human being without that 100, which a few years ago he was getting 100 pretty much every other innings, or it seemed to be that case. So he'll be low in confidence. He'll never admit to that, but he's bound to be. But great players are only ever 1 innings away. 1 innings away, and a little bit of fortune, a little bit of luck. That ball goes into the gap, goes for 4. He could be away. So I would never rule out Virat coming back into form very quickly.
I hope so, because the only century, Lisa, we've got from him is a century of not getting centuries. He's played 100 games now and not got 100. This is just, it feels so weird. I mean, this is probably the weirdest thing in this pandemic that has happened, is that Virat Kohli's not got 100.
Yeah, across all 3 formats, isn't it? So, and the media attention and us talking about it is just adding to it as well. You remember hearing Sachin Tendulkar talk about his 100th and the pressure that was building, and everyone talking about it every time he went out. I'm sure there's an element there for Virat, but I agree with Michael. He's a class player. Just probably needs to just be a little bit more patient, but it's hard when you're trying to find form. You want bat on ball.
Yeah, true. And the strange thing is that every dismissal has been different. So it's not like he's been found out in one area. It's almost like, I don't know, Michael, you're looking at him and it's almost like, it's not like he's finding ways to get out, but it's like the universe is conspiring to get him out in whatever he does.
Yeah, I just think many things that you can do when you're out of form. You can overcomplicate life and look at too many old videos, and that can work for some players, but it also can confuse the mind. Change your bat, things like that. Just go out with a new bat. I just think a batting position, if you open the batting and just changed from batting at number 3 to going out first, just that one little change, it might just trigger him into action. It's not working at the minute at number 3. I think he's an absolute perfect opening batter in T20 cricket. So I'd change everything. I'd let him open the batting. I'd change all his kit, get a brand new bat, new shoes, new box, you name it. I'd have everything fresh, because the old stuff is just not working at the minute. So go to the shop, buy some new kit, and he'll be fine. I don't think he buys his kit, by the way.
No, I don't think he does.
And I don't think he goes to the shop.
No, we'll get someone. I'll get my minions. You go to the
Yeah.
shop and get out some new kit.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right. I think, and your minions won't be able to get into the bio bubble, so don't make the effort. It's fine. He's got it covered, I'm sure. I hope so for all Virat fans, because something's going to shake up as a cricket fan, and you can be wherever you are on the fact that he's so expressive on the field and how he behaves or what he does, and he's so vocal. But you can only be on one side when it comes to appreciating his talent. He's one of the greatest there ever has been, and we'd love to see some runs out of him. Personally, I'm such a big fan of, they talk about the 4 right now. I'm going to talk about 2 of them who are playing. Both of them are playing in out of position. I think Kane should be batting 3 and Virat should be opening. If they could just do a little swap, they also just they're down the road, Bangalore, Hyderabad, just do a little switcheroo. I think it's going to be great. But anyway, right now it's all about Lucknow trying to get to this target of 182 and potentially jumping on top of the table. They can, if they do it at a good clip. They can. Will it happen or not? Well, we'll find out. Right now, we, of course, have to leave, but we're going to be back with Cricbuzz Combox at the end of the 10th over. A big thank you to Lisa Sthalekar from the East and Michael Vaughan from the West. I am right here in the center, which has never been said about me, but yeah, keeping the balance. This was Cricbuzz Live.